All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Amy, if you could take the roll.
Mayor Bogenreith,
Here.
Ms. Burhoop. Here. Ms. Hoffman,
Here.
Ms. Strain,
Here.
and Mr. Tucker is absent.
All right, say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And we'll look for a motion to approve the minutes from April 7th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Commissioner, Department Head, and Community Board reports.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. I wanted to clarify something that was brought up at the last meeting regarding the Corps of Engineers. I wasn't here to provide that report. So the city has currently got 2 tracks of business with the Corps of Engineers. The one that was on the agenda last meeting was to repair the 2024 flood damage all the way along both the levees and downriver on on the banks. That's a $1.7 million project that the Corps will undertake, of which the local portion of that is $300,000. So that's kind of what that agreement laid out. And the local portion will be divided up between us and the county, depending on where the projects are and where the costs finally come in at. The second, well, going back to that, so we'll be responsible for the local match, us and the county, and then we'll also have to provide easements and right-of-ways for them to access the project sites. And then also we'll have to source the fill dirt that they might need for the repairs. Those projects are being designed, and I wouldn't expect them to actually be completed until 2027. And we'll build our local portion of that into our 2027 budget. I think we have some in the 2026 budget, but the second track of business is the GI study, which was approved in the last appropriations bill. And that GI study is designed to study flooding on the lower Big Sioux River, and to contemplate mitigation efforts to avoid having to close exit 4 in the future, and provide better protection. That study can be up to 3 years and up to $3 million. Right now, the phase we're in is we're in the initial phase where the Corps is scoping that project out to make sure it aligns with their goals and objectives, which I'm sure it will. And through that first phase, that's 100% funded by the Corps. And once they establish the scope, they'll put a price tag to it, and then the locals are responsible for 50% of that over 3 years. So that $3 million will be $1.5 million from the Corps or from the federal government, $1.5 million from the locals, and the locals right now consist of North Sioux City, Union County, Dakota Dunes, Sioux City, Iowa. You know, as we get into this, that we may try to expand it to maybe Woodbury County, Plymouth County, some of the other communities in Iowa too, to help pay for that 50% match. I'm intending to apply for CDBG-DR fundings to take care of the South Dakota side local match. That would be Dakota Dunes, North Sioux City, and Union County. And then we'll have to work with the other cities to secure the rest of it. So, you know, I think the actual meat of that will get started probably in June. And I have a meeting on it tomorrow, a conference call on it tomorrow. We're in that phase of scoping it out and also continue to gather all the data we'll need to do the study. So I just want to kind of clarify the city's 2 courses of business with the Corps, since I wasn't here to be able to do that. The CDBG-DR money, we're planning on a public hearing at our first meeting in March. where we will talk about using that money for River Drive and Centennial lift stations, along with the local match for the North Shore Bypass project, and then also the local match for the GI study. We may come back the second meeting in March with additional projects.
May? Do you mean May?
May, I'm sorry, did I say March? I meant May.
Yeah, Mama.
May. Once we get the public hearings done, then we can submit the applications by June 12th, I think is the deadline, and then we can kind of see where those funding priorities lie with the state. April 30th, from 3 to 5, will be a public hearing here in the council chambers on Safe Streets for All. That is the program that CCOG is doing with Houston Engineering to identify traffic safety issues in North Sioux City, and part of that was the website where people could go and put points on a map where they've perceived problems in the past. So all that data is being compiled, and I think it's going to turn out to be a very good end product, because it's not only going to identify possible problem areas, it will also identify what they call countermeasures, which are, in a sense, fixes for them. So from that report, I think we can set some priorities on where we want to focus our CIP plan over the next 5 years, and anticipate problems moving forward. That's all I have.
Anyone else? All right, move on to community input. If your item's not on the agenda, please come forward.
You already know me.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. I wanted to congratulate you guys on the job that you're doing with keeping the traffic at a minimum on North Shore by Penrose, and that they're doing a good job of keeping those gates closed. I still see people trying to get around, but I've found out if I stand on my deck with my phone out, it usually gives them a discouraged enough to turn around and go the other way. I mean, I actually had to tell one lady not to move the barricade, because she was going to move it, and I said, you know, you're going to get a ticket for that. And she said, well, how do I get to my house? I said, well, you park and you walk like everybody else has to. And that, so, and she thought about it for a while, but then she did get back in her car and turn around, so that is a good thing. One of my other concerns, I did talk to John about it a little bit, is where they're putting that temporary road in. It's pretty close to a couple of our trees, one of mine and one of Kendra's, and we're hoping that they don't do any damage to those trees when they put that temporary road in. So. And you know which one I'm talking about, Jeff, is that pine tree?
Yeah, yep,
And that, so,
we'll look at it.
and what was the other thing I was going to ask about? Oh, they're still wondering when they're going to get the dirt behind the houses on Penrose?
Yeah, that actually is being discussed tonight.
That's on the agenda tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, guys.
All right,
Doing a good job.
thank you. Anyone else? All right, move on to the agenda. First thing is North Shore Bypass. We have a resolution 2026-10 authorizing acquisition of additional real property by agreement for North Shore Drive realignment.
Yeah, this is, we've done this a couple other times in the past on other properties. This is for the Knox property on 23 North Shore, to get us the necessary land acquisition and temporary easements we need for that project. This would authorize us to sign the documents and pay the amount.
Okay.
And we would pursue closing 20 days after the resolution has been published.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2026-10.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next item is flood recovery. We have a North Shore reconstruction update. John?
Thank you. From a construction standpoint, the contractor's still working on the storm sewer outfall. The east one, we've got two of them that discharge into the lake, and so the contractor's working on the east one at this point and got the flared end and the grading roughed in, I guess, for that one. And they're starting to work on some of the storm sewer on what would be the north side of North Shore at that same location. So that would be the connector street. They'll eventually go up to the bypass. So they're getting some of that storm sewer extended there. Then they're going to switch over and they're going to go to the west one where the outfall, the big storm sewer outfall is, and they'll start working on that one. The water's coming up fast, so we anticipate some of the shore protection may have to wait till this winter to do some of that, just because the water is coming up fast enough where they're not going to get their shore protection down tied in low enough. So I just want to let people know that, but that's out of the construction traffic. It's out of, street traffic and things like that. So I would say the construction's progressing a little slower than they anticipated at this point, but progressing. So, any questions?
John, you'd mentioned, I know it's not a flood mitigation project, but with the new storm sewers being put in, I think you mentioned it might be up to about 10 times more flow capacity than what we had before, which in itself is going to help a little bit.
Significant. Yeah, it's a significant improvement. I don't want to say a 100-year event, but it was close to that, what we're capable of handling in the storm sewer system now. But when we do get an overtopping like we did in '24, it won't handle it. It'll still overtop the roadway. We are doing shore protection, like I was just talking about, the concrete anchor mat that we were talking about. They will be anchored in well so that we shouldn't lose the roadway like we did this time. And so, I mean, we're doing some measures there, but obviously there's going to be, catastrophic situations where we might not be able to protect everything, but we're doing a lot better job than what we had before.
I think the biggest improvement you'll see is there was very little storm sewer out there before. Now it's a very robust storm sewer system that can handle larger rain events better than the previous arrangement, and that's just because it was old and wasn't designed for what it was being used for. So there will definitely be some improvement there. In the outfalls now are designated in 2 spots instead of all the way along the lake. So.
Yep. Any questions for North Shore? You'll be seeing a pay request, not at the next meeting, but the following meeting. We decided not to bring one forward today. So we'll have a pay request that'll be, more than a month of work completed. So at the next time you see pay request.
Okay. Move on to you ready for the next
Yep.
item? Okay,
Yep.
next item is authorization of bid for Phase 2 of the McCook Lake grading project, which includes Phases 2, 3, 4, and 6.
So this is the authorization to move forward with, if you can look at the map there, the red areas, 2, 3, 4, and 6, which would be behind the residence on Penrose. The advertisement for this project will be the first week in May 1st, May 8th, and then we'll open bids the following week. So we'll be able to award the project at your second meeting of May, so that, hopefully our contractor should be able to get going. I want to stress the importance that the mayor had wanted to make sure is that we don't impact the current contractor on North Shore. I know that was a sensitive situation, and we've put it in the bid documents that, they can't impact at all the construction schedule of North Shore Reconstruct. So they have to coordinate, whoever gets this project has to coordinate with the North Shore Reconstruct contractors so that we don't impact their construction schedule. And that estimated cost was $685,000 for these 4 areas.
And you've had conversations with Reedy Construction
Yep,
about
yep,
this?
they're aware and they're fine with working with us, and they anticipate, having availability. And it depends on who gets this work. They may be able to, Area 6, which is on the north side, may be able to come in through John Roos. It all depends on, I think, who gets the work, because there's different relationships with John Roos. And so they may be able to come in from the north side. It depends on who gets that work. So, was that okay to say? So, but anyway, if that's the case, that big area in the north, which is the biggest impact for the people on Penrose, will be improved, relatively quickly this summer.
The slowest part of the reconstruction project is going to be utilities and the storm sewer. I mean, once they get to paving, we can get it to paving. I think the paving will go very fast, but, which, hopefully they can get in and out of there by the time school starts, which leaves plenty of time to still get that dirt back behind, if they can't use roosts.
And your projected timeline for all four of these phases is what?
We have the final completion date by the end of the year. So just so everybody's aware of that they can do some of this work even, after North Shore's reconstructed. Some of this work can be done then. But the intent was so that, if for some reason Reedy, our general contractor on North Shore, it's too much of an impact for him, our contractor that's doing these lot grading, they can come in after they're done and finish up that work, as long as we're not, because most of this work now on these area 2, 3, and 4, there's not a lot of dirt to be hauled in. It's the work, that dirt just needs to be moved around for the most part. The big haul area is lot 6 or area 6. That's where all the dirt has to come in. And if we can get someone that gets along with John and has a good relationship with him, that'll be the best, because that doesn't have to come through our road then. And they can get that done without impacting our new pavement. Okay. Any questions? If not, I would like a motion to advertise the project.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next item is to authorize the extension of unit pricing for Phase 1 of the grading project to Project 5, which is Lot 21 and 23.
So,
Go ahead.
okay,
Scroll.
so what this is, if you look at the map, if you'd pull that up, Amy. So Lot 5, or Area 5, not Lot 5, Area 5, which is part of this Knox resolution that you approved tonight for some of that acquisition. This would be just an extension of unit prices from our bid that we did on number 1, Area 1. It's an extension of that. So it's some of the grading and things like that. And so it's about another $78,000. And the contractor has agreed to increase quantities by that amount. We don't have a lot of change order items for this. It's really just increasing quantities. But then we do have a retaining wall and a couple minor things that we'll be bringing forward with a change order. But this work is approximately $78,000 additional from our original contract. So it's very close to what we had talked about in the past. It's just that this one allows our contractor that's doing number 1 to do this Area 5 sooner rather than later. And that'll help us out with the North Shore reconstruction project as well.
This site,
So-
this site can be accessed off of Leisure Lane.
Right, yes. And so we'd recommend moving forward with increasing quantities and adding this to the current contract with Lieber Construction.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Moving on to planning and zoning. You have an update, or someone has an update? Andrew?
John was volunteering here for a second.
No, I didn't get my name down, sorry about that.
Yeah, an update from the last planning and zoning meeting. There was just two plats. One we'll cover in the next item. There was a separate one that'll be coming in front of you at the first commission meeting in May. That was for a commercial lot, about an acre and a half out in Union Crossing. They asked that that be held off until May. So those are the only two items at the planning commission meeting. I'll mention the comprehensive plan. There's going to be a public hearing at the next planning commission meeting, which is this Wednesday, 4 o'clock here in the council chambers. So that'll be the first public hearing with the planning commission, and there will be a public hearing at the city commission meeting, the first meeting in May. And then after those public hearings, we'll take all the input, incorporate any changes into the plan, and then keep that moving through the approval process. Hopefully that'll be approved by the second meeting in May, but if there's a significant amount of changes, that could get adjusted a little bit. So that's going to be moving ahead here shortly. And then one thing I'll mention too is the Housing Commission, they're proceeding with a housing study, an updated housing study. There's been a lot of activity in North Sioux City the past couple of years now, so the Housing Commission wants to take a look at that study and see how the development has changed the community's needs going forward and help identify some priorities and their plan of attack going forward. So they're going to, Augustana is the entity that's going to be helping with the housing study, and they're going to be contacting different community groups and elected officials and staff and so forth. So some of you might have gotten your name and contact given out today, so just a heads up.
So this plat, are we approved? No.
Yep, so we can go to the.
Oh, okay, that
second
was
item
just
under
your
Plan
update.
3. That was just the update. So yeah, this is a plat out in the Flynn Business Park. It's pretty simple. It takes about a 3.5 acre lot, subdivides it to a 2 and a 1.5 acre lot. The Economic Development Corporation is going to be selling what's shown there as Flynn Tract 7. Lot 3, we'll be selling that 2 acre piece to a business, and then retaining the remaining of Lot 9C. It's in about 1.5 acres, and we'll market that.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the plat?
Motion to approve the plat change.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Andrew. And then next is fireworks application approval.
You know, there's 3 sets of firework license applications for approval. American Fireworks, Lantis Fireworks, and Zorts. Ordinance requires the city to approve these applications every year. Everyone has paid their licensing fee. They provided their state licenses. Everything looks good to go.
Okay. Need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the applications.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I think you're still up, Andrew. Appointments
here.
for the Housing Redevelopment Commission.
Yeah, this was interesting. So as we've been trying to resurrect the Housing and Redevelopment Commission, one of the things that was needed was a bylaw update. They were still operating under their original bylaws from 1996. And so as we were working through this, I had sent the bylaws over to Sarah, and she discovered that these positions on the HRC needed to be appointed by the mayor and then approved by the commission. Apparently in the past, that wasn't happening. It looked like HRC, actually they had a lot of the same board members on for quite some time. And so they just stayed on and kept working and doing great work. I mean, they've made a very good impact in North Sioux City, but weren't going through the appointment process that we should have been going through, that was required in state law. So looking ahead, we do want to get the appointments made for the HRC They have, we did go through an advertising process back, say, late 2025, where we were advertising for HRC members. We did get 5 who you can see here. So they have been meeting. They have been brainstorming ways to make a positive impact in North Sioux City, but we do need to officially get them appointed. They are required to do 5-year terms, and so this is actually kind of similar in a way to when the city commission took their 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can create staggered terms going forward. And we have a list here of Joni Christensen for the 1-year term, Darren Strain for the 2-year, David Welch for the 3, Dallas Mitchell for the 4, and then Jeff Rabbit for the 5. And so it'd be a commission of 5, which is the number laid out in state law. They will have ex officio members, so they have 2 ex officio members right now, but they could add more if they choose. But it's a good group. They're motivated. They're excited to make an impact. They're fun to work with. They'll keep me busy.
I make a motion that we approve these members to the terms as listed.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I'm going to abstain.
Oh, yeah, I see your name on there. All right, motion carries. Next is appointments for the Library Board of Trustees.
Yeah, can you go to that memo? Leanne's not here, but she needs to have 2 members reappointed to the commission. They're currently on the commission. Sue Sutledge, does that sound right?
Close enough.
And Jane Lilly be reappointed to the Library Board of Trustees.
I make the motion to accept Leanne's recommendations.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Moving on to financial, March financial statements.
Okay, for March, I hate to say it, but it's a good thing but a bad thing, but things are kind of boring. Our cash balances have remained pretty much the same for the majority of the year. Any changes in December, operating-wise, or in March, operating-wise, we are up 279 for the month and 667 for the year. Capital projects, we're down a little bit, 29,860 for the year. So still looking good there. The water and sewer funds, neither of them are looking real good for the month. We had our first part of our meter change-out project, which is the large meters, and that came in at costing both the water and sewer funds $62,000 each. Out of 77 meters identified in that project, we've switched out 74, I believe. So we'll continue to monitor and see if we notice a difference with those changes out. Also in March, we paid for the GIS program, and half of that came out of water and half out of sewer, and that ended up ironically being $62,000 out of each as well. So Rusty's excited about that.
I would say, you know, the good news behind that is we have found some revenues that we hadn't been collecting for before that we should have been, so that should improve the bottom line too. And as we continue to refine our reporting and our monitoring, we should be able to tighten that up even more.
Okay, so we're through the first quarter of the senior meals operation, the second full quarter that they've been in operation. So I just wanted to give you a little, I don't know, snapshot of that fund. We're really not looking at the senior center as though it should be making us money. Our seniors are important to us, but we do want to continue to evaluate it while it's starting up and, see what the demand is for it, what the usage is for it. So for the month, or for the quarter, it was a loss of $4,300. The average meals served a day, the fourth quarter of 2025 was 14, and that is down to 11. As far as rentals, fourth quarter of 2025, we had 4 rentals. It's been rented out 9 times the first quarter of 2026, and an additional 7 have already been paid for later on in the year. So the rentals are picking up, and from what I understand, Lynn is recruiting people to come have meals with her. So looking at what it would take for a break even on these, our senior center rentals, I couldn't find the last time those amounts were adjusted. We did add during COVID a $25 disinfecting fee to each rental, and that never went away. So currently we're charging $100 for a full day weekend with a $25 disinfecting, so $125. We took 50% of all the overhead costs, so we didn't include what we pay to Active Generations or any of the meals, and came up with needing to charge a minimum of $192 if this 9 rentals a quarter continues to break even on their side. I talked to Renee at the Ikes Club. If you're a member of the Ikes Club, it's $200 for 5 hours or $300 for the day. And if you're not a member, it's $400 for 5 hours and $600 for the day. So I think we are low even at $200, but I wanted to put it in to you guys to see what you thought.
The current rate is 100.
The current rate for a weekday is $50 or $75 if you add in the disinfecting fee. For a weekend, it's $125, and then on a holiday, it would be $225.
So you're saying if we charged 192, that would cover 50% of the overhead,
Yes.
and the city would still
Right,
eat the other 50%?
correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the senior center costs are 90% overhead fixed costs, but the American Legion has been doing a fantastic job helping us rent out the place and managing it. And so I think, that this comes a little bit at their recommendation too, is that we should increase the rates there because they haven't been looked at for such a long time, and they're just not covering the costs we need them to.
So some of our biggest users are aware of it, you're saying?
Isn't
they're-
it my understanding that if we charge $200 for the rental, that covers their half of all the.
Yeah, it would cover 50% of the overhead.
And we're not subsidizing anything on the rentals. You will continue to subsidize on senior meals, because unfortunately, the downside of working with senior meals, they pass away or they go to assisted living. So we're looking from our side of the senior center work to expand our base, which means we're going to look at all of 57049, not just North Sioux City, because it's a tough situation, and so we need to expand the base that will be asking people if they'd be interested in the senior meals. So I think that that's going to get better. Also,
Lynn informed me today that the definition of senior meal is 55 and older.
Oh.
So a lot of us will qualify. But,
And that does bring in more people when you say 55 rather than 60. Because I can speak for myself. After you get over 60, it seems like there are a lot more reasons you don't want to be out and about to do things. But I think 55 you're still pretty active. And so we would be encouraging people at 55 to come and have lunch. We have some very nice lunches. You always get an entree, a fruit, a vegetable, your bread, dessert every day, and your drink for $7.
And
You
the-
cannot even go to McDonald's and get that. So I just encourage people to talk with other residents or people in the 57049 and encourage them to come to have lunch with us. It's a great social also.
And the menus are on our website.
Is there a under 55 price in case somebody has a guess that?
No, it's $7. I don't care who you are. It's everybody is paying the same amount. And what that does cover, it basically covers the charge from the catering company. And I would like for them to be able to do a little bit better because I have tightened them some days down to 10 meals. And they've been very generous. No problem, no problem. They've worked very well with us. And I know that there are people from the old Rocks program. They would love to have a meal delivered, but they also do not want to pay anything. We have a few people that we have sponsorships for, and they cover the cost of a person. Both of them to date have been veterans. So I would encourage anyone, if you are so inclined, we certainly can find veterans who could appreciate a lunch.
So would we want to, we do that part now, senior center?
Yeah, do we have the proposed prices
We
in
need
front
to-
of us?
Go for-
These are the existing prices, right?
200 if that, yeah, these are the existing. 200 if they can keep up the 9 rentals a quarter would cover half. And that is for the weekend all day. So I don't know if you guys want to set a different price for holiday and weekday, weekend, whatever.
I think 300 on a holiday is appropriate because the person from American Legion has to come, get it set up with them, making sure it's cleaned up when they leave. So even though they're doing that and not charging, I think that it's appropriate for people who want to use it on the holiday that we would charge 300.
Where's your proposed amounts for all types? Or you don't have them on? Okay.
So I would say, just to kind of go along with what Lynn said, if you're using the math here, weekday would be $100, the weekend days would be $200, and then holidays would be $300.
And then you get rid of the disinfecting fees, and
Yeah.
would you double the security deposits as well?
You know, we haven't in the last 5 years had any issue needing a security deposit, and I think some of that is contributed to the fact that it is an alcohol-free establishment. So I would be comfortable leaving that at 50.
Okay. All right. Look for a motion for those that Jeff just identified.
I'll make a motion to approve the raise in fees. Sure, it's been quite a while.
100, 200, and 300.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next is approval of memorandum of understanding between Dakota State University and the city.
Yep, there was $7 million designated in Senate Bill 187 in 2024 to go out to counties and municipalities and check out their cyber security, see how secure they are, make recommendations, that kind of stuff. We previously did this in 2022, and everything They didn't have any major recommendations that we needed to do, but it is recommended that you do it when it's available, and this came up, so we are asking approval to do it. The no cost to the city to have it evaluated. If they make suggestions and there's things the city needs to upgrade or purchase for security purposes, that would be on us.
This is a good time to do this ahead of our budgeting process.
I'll make the motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Dakota State and City of North Sioux City for the cyber
Testing.
analysis.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next is approval of bills.
I'll motion to approve the bills.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.